Home Assistant user will gonna love this video, as this video is about a great add-on to your existing Home Assistant setup to make it more useful. So that add-on is this e-paper display from Seed Studio, which is controlled by a XIAO board, and this display will not just work as a regular desk clock, but it can also help you to visualize the current status of all the appliances connected with your Home Assistant server. Plus, it will also let you monitor current census data as well. And along with this, you can also add a couple of more widgets of your choice to have a glance over everything on the single display on your desk. Isn't this a really convenient add-on? Well, I definitely think so. And this video is all about how to integrate this display with an existing Home Assistant setup. Plus, I'll also be showcasing one really interesting and useful Home Assistant based product in between this video, so do watch out the video till the end. So now let me just grab that display and let's just discuss the specifications of it. So this is a 7.5-inch monocolor e-paper display panel which has a resolution of 800 by 480 pixels. Now this is just a panel, and to run this we need a separate driver board, and luckily Seed made a really tiny driver board for this that runs on a XIAO board. So here is the e-paper display driver board that has a connector for adding any XIAO board like XIAO ESP32-C6, and later it also got a 24-pin PFC connector in which you can not only insert this 7.5-inch but can add almost any e-paper display panels and can make it work. Along with this, it also got a battery connector, so it's quite convenient to make battery powered display project with it. So basically we'll need these all things for today's project, and now let's jump on to our Home Assistant server and let's learn how to integrate the display. So now for showing the demo, here I'm using my Raspberry Pi 4 board acting as the main server, and in this board I have completely set up the Home Assistant server. Now in this video I won't be covering the part about how to install Home Assistant server and configure it. Rather, I already made a video previously on my channel which shows all the steps to be performed to run a Home Assistant server on the Raspberry Pi board. So if you don't know how to do that, well, I'll recommend you to watch out that video. You can find the link in the description. So once you have your Raspberry Pi board running the Home Assistant server in it, now you need to follow the steps shown in the video right now to make this display work. And let's just start with the very basic hello world example code. So for that, in your Home Assistant dashboard, you need to go to the settings, go to add-ons, and here click on add-on store and just search for ESPHome. Okay, so you'll find this ESPHome device builder. Just click on it, and here you will find the install button. In my case, I already installed it, so hence it is not showing. After installing, you just need to turn on start on boot and show in sidebar, and you are good to go. After doing all those steps, you will find a new option called as ESPHome builder on the left hand side. Just click on it, and here you need to click on new device. Later you need to click on continue. Give the device a name. I will name it as e-paper. You can give any name you want. Click on next. Now here we need to select the board that we are using. Now in my case, I'm using the ESP32-C6 board, which I already connected with the Raspberry Pi board acting as a server. Okay, so here I'll select the C3 board and click on skip. So after that, you will be finding a new option here called as e-paper, and once you click on the edit button, you will see a .yaml file which will contain all the logic and configurations which will later be uploaded to our ESP32-C6 board. Now here, to make it work for our e-paper display, well, we have a very beautiful and detailed article from Seed Studio itself that shows all the steps to be performed to make it work, and in this video I'll be completely following that same article. I'll also provide the link in the description. Okay, so after you do all the steps, what you need to do is you just need to get this particular code. Okay, I'll just copy it, and you need to paste it after the captive portal. Okay, so I'll paste it here. Now what this code says, let me guide you. So this code says that we are using this particular built-in fonts for the text to be displayed on the e-paper, whose ID is font1 and size is 24. After that, we are defining the SPI interface, the GPIO pins through which it will communicate with the display. Later, we are providing the configurations of the display as well, like the platform and the GPIO pins for the CS chip select pin and the DC pin. And after that, we are also providing the model number of it and update interval. Update interval means after how many seconds you want the display to get refreshed. Here it is 30 seconds. You can change, you can decrease the time, you can increase the time as well. Okay, and after that, this particular line will help us to print the text on our display. And in this function, the first two parameters are the x and y coordinates, like from where do you want to start writing the text. The third parameter is the font, which font you need to use. So we are using the font one, which is nothing but this particular font. And lastly, we need to provide the text to be printed. So that's a very basic hello world example code for this display. So now we'll keep it up to this step and let's see if it is working or not. So to test it out, you just need to click on the install button, and here we'll find multiple options about how to upload this code onto the board. In my case, as I said, I have connected the C3 board with the Raspberry Pi acting as a server. I'll select the third option, and here as you can see, I got the port appeared here. Select it and it will compile the code and will upload onto the C3 board. So this will definitely take some time. So let's just fast forward this video and show you if it works or not. Okay, so here the code is successfully uploaded, and on the screen we get to see hello world printed on the top left corner of the display. So that was the basic example code on how we can use this e-paper display with the help of the Home Assistant server running on a Raspberry Pi board. And here in the code, you can also try changing a couple of parameters, just like the font size, like let us change to 124, and later if you install it, you can see that the font size on the display increases significantly. So after this hello world example code, let's move ahead and try out something new. So in this Seed Studio documentation, they have provided the next example code to show these shapes onto our display, which I'm not going to show in this video. It's pretty simple and straightforward. You can just have a look over it and try it out. Rather, I'm more interested in displaying the information in Home Assistant, which means that we can fetch the data of any of the widget in Home Assistant, that may be the weather widget, calendar widget, or maybe our home automation based appliances. We can fetch the data of them, and then later we can display that information, that data, onto our e-paper display. So let's just try that out. So for that, we need to add the ESPHome as a device, and how to do that, let me show you. So you need to go to settings, then into device and services, and here you will find one option called as e-paper, or maybe any other name which you have given to your ESPHome. And then later you just need to click on the add button and click on submit. Here you can choose any of the room you want to add this device. I'll keep it bedroom, skip and finish, and we are good to go. Now we can easily fetch the data of the widgets and display it on our display. Let me show you how to do that. So when we look over the documentation of this Seed Studio, they already provided one example code. Okay, so let's just copy it first, and we'll go back to the ESPHome builder into the e-paper, and here I'll paste this code under the captive portal. And now let's try to understand what this code says. So first of all, the basic thing, the font size and the type of font we are using. After that, here as you can see, we are kind of fetching the weather information by providing the entity ID, and also we are providing the attribute whose data we are interested in. So now to find this entity ID and the attribute, you first need to go to developer tools, and here you need to go to states, and here are all the entities, or we can say widgets, whose data we can fetch and display onto our e-paper. So right now we are interested in the weather one, so let's just try to search entity as weather. Okay, so we got it. So first of all, the entity ID is nothing but this particular name, weather.forecast.home. So you can just copy it and paste it inside your code somewhere here. Okay, so this is the entity ID. Okay, and now you can provide the local ID for this entity ID, so that wherever you want to use the data, you can just call my weather and you can use the data. Furthermore, if you want to fetch the particular data from that entity, that means we need to provide the attribute of it. Okay, so how we can find the attribute? You can again go to developer tools, into states, and here in the weather.forecast_home, these are the attributes. So you can get the data of any of the parameter that you want. For example, if you want the temperature, we can just copy the temperature, and inside the code we can just save the attribute or paste the attribute as temperature. And here we have provided the ID of this attribute as my temperature. So whenever you want the data of the temperature entity, we can just call this ID and print out the data. And similarly we can put other attribute as well, just like we have added pressure. Okay, and now the question is how we can print this data onto our display. For that we can just scroll down, and here is the logic for printing. So these 3 lines will help us to print the data onto the log, like the terminal window of this Home Assistant, and these 3 lines will help us to print the data into our ePaper display. And the format is pretty simple, same as before. First we need to provide the X and Y coordinates from where we need to start printing. Later we need to provide the font. So here we are using this same my font ID, that means this particular font. And after that we are printing %s, that means the string, and the string is nothing but id myweather dot state underscore ctr. This is just for converting into string. So we are basically interested in id into the bracket myweather. So this will print the myweather status. After that it will print my temperature, which is nothing but the temperature data stored in this temperature attribute. And later we are printing id my pressure, which is nothing but the data under pressure attribute. So with this line we can print the real time data into our ePaper display. So let's try to save this code and upload it and test if it works or not. So I'll just click on the install button, select plug into the computer running ESPHome, select this COM port, and now this will take some time to upload the code. So let's just skip this part and show you the end results. So here as you can see, we got the data printed onto our ePaper display, the weather status, which is partly cloudy, the temperature 31.3 and the pressure 1003.7, and this is exactly the same data we get to see on our Home Assistant server as well. So with this we successfully fetched the live data and displayed onto our ePaper display. So with this we have successfully learned how to display the text and how to fetch the data from the Home Assistant widget and again display it onto the ePaper display. And now let's move ahead and learn how to display the custom, what you can say, icons on our display. And with this we'll be good to go to build our final project of displaying all the important parameters of Home Assistant onto our display with couple of custom icons as well. So now to show the custom icons, the step is first we need to install one add-on. For that you can go to settings, then here into the add-ons, and here click on add-on store, and here just search for Studio Code Server, which is this. Click on it and you just need to install it. In my case I have already installed. After that you just need to enable this show in sidebar, and this new option will appear here. Click on it, and here under the ESPHome section you need to just right click here and click on new folder. Give this folder a name as font, because here we'll be adding the custom font which will support those custom icons. Now which font we need to add? Well, for that again we'll go to the Seed Studios documentation. Here you need to click to download the fonts required for the icons. So I successfully downloaded them, and here are the 2 font files. So what you need to do is you just need to drag and drop them inside the font folder which we have just created. That's it. With this we have successfully installed the font, and now let's see how to display the icons and what kind of icons we can display. For that again go to the Seed Studios documentation, and well, here is the complete code. So let's try to copy it first, and we'll go to the ESPHome builder, click on edit, and here I will paste below captive portal and click on save button. Okay, so let us try to understand this particular code. So what we are doing is, first of all, we are changing the font file. So here we have chosen the, I did one mistake. The folder name should be fonts. So I'll just go back to Studio Code Server, and here I will rename it as fonts. Perfect. Okay, now let's go back to our ePaper display code. And yeah, anyways, we can do here font as well, but the whole documentation of Seed Studio is based on fonts. So let us keep it fonts to avoid any kind of confusion. Okay, so anyways, we are choosing the font that we have just downloaded. We are choosing its size, and we are giving it as ID. The large one is of 200 size, and the medium one is of size 40. Okay, after that, here we have already chosen 2 different kind of icons. One is called as weather cloudy, one is called as weather hail. Now how we got the unique ID number of these icons? Well, for that again you can go to the documentation page from Seed, and here if you click on icon website, this will open up all different kind of icons. Okay, and here if I search for weather hail, as you can see we got one icon, and here as you can see the code is F0592, and that same code is here F0592, and that's how we can get the code of the icon and provide that code here, and we can display that icon with the help of this fonts that we have downloaded onto our e-paper display. Okay, so that's what we are doing. We are defining the code here, defining the size and ID, everything here, and inside the main code under the display section we are printing it by providing X and Y coordinates, providing the font what we can say ID, is it medium or large based on the size, letter, the align is center align, and after that we just need to provide the code in this particular format. Okay, and by providing this 2 lines we can print those 2 icons onto our display, and not those 2 icons, rather we can choose any of the icon that we want by just changing the code in the main a YAML file. That's pretty much it. Let's just try to upload this code and let's see how the icons are being displayed onto the display. So let's click on the install button, plug it to our computer and select the COM port, and let's skip this part of video and let me show you the final results. So here the code is successfully uploaded, and as you can see we got 2 different icons here. One is with the bigger font size and one is with the smaller font size, and those are the custom icons that we got from that particular website. Let me just zoom that second one. So that is the small one and this is the big one. So yeah, that's how you can display any custom icons on this e-paper display. So now after learning how to use this e-paper display with our Home Assistant, now is the time to design the final UI of our project. But before that, let me introduce you to one more interesting product that we're gonna use for this Home Assistant based project, and that product is the 6-channel relay board based on XIAO ESP32-C6 board from Seed Studio. And I already configured this board with the Home Assistant platform, and with this I can easily control up to 6 appliances using the dashboard. And not only that, I have also attached this temperature sensor to it so that I can visualize the live temperature data as well. So as I said, this product is already configured with the Home Assistant platform via ESPHome, and I kind of made a couple of videos about how to integrate the ESP board with Home Assistant to do home automation. I didn't make any specific video about this product and about the XIAO ESP32-C6. So in case if you want to learn how to integrate this product with Home Assistant, well, you can drop down your request in the comment section. Based upon the majority request, I'll think about making a separate video for it. But yeah, anyways, now the thing is we do have all the data ready, and now we need to design the final UI to be displayed on the screen. And now if we talk about the data to be displayed, then I'm thinking of to add the data like current time, current date, then live status of all the appliances along with the live temperature sensors data. And I'm also thinking of to add the current weather status or a couple of parameters of the weather status in my own city. So these all data points I want to put up on the e-paper display. So now let's try to write the code for it. So firstly we looked for the entity ID for the appliances and the sensors connected with Home Assistant, and later we embedded it in the main YAML file. After that, we started with designing the UI for it, and we tried with couple different UI until we landed on this final UI version. Well, this UI seems perfect as it displays all the data in proper arranged format. So after finalizing the UI, we got the 3D design file for this display from the Seed Studio's website and gave it for printing. And till the print comes, let me show you a couple of important lines in the YML file which you need to take care to integrate your Home Assistant based appliances data onto the display. Let me show you. Okay, so here is the final YML file of our Home Assistant display, and I will let you know the important things which you need to take care or which you need to change to make it work on your end as well. So first thing is you need to provide the assigned name and password of your Wi-Fi router. Provide the same Wi-Fi router's credential where the Home Assistant server is running, because everything is under local area connection only. After that, the important thing is the entity ID. Okay, so as this project contains the live status of the appliances and the sensor as well connected to a different Home Assistant device, so to get the data onto our display we need to provide the entity ID. For example, we are displaying the status of relays. Okay, so for that we need to provide this entity ID. In my case it is switch.relay_relay_1. In your case it may be different based upon the name you have given to that device. And how to find this entity ID? Well, for that you can go to the developer tools, then into states, and here you need to search for the relay. In my case it is here. So when you click on it, you will find this entity id switch.relay_relay1. You can just copy from here and you can go back to your main YAML file and you can simply paste that entity id here, and make sure the entity ID should match or should be proper, otherwise you won't get the data on the display. Similarly, I provided for relay 2 up to relay 6. Eventually we are displaying only 4 relay status on the display, as we have a 4 bulb setup available. So yeah, we are displaying up to 4 only, but you can go up to 6 or maybe n number of relays as well based upon your device. Okay, so this is the one. And second thing is we are also displaying the temperature sensors data, which is mentioned here, and here the entity ID is this. So again, to find this entity ID, you can go to developer tools, into states, and just search for that sensor. So just search for sensor in case if I find it. Okay, here is my sensor, so I'll click on it, and here is the entity ID. So I'll just copy it from here, go back to my main YAML file, and I can simply paste that ID here. So these are the entity IDs you need to take care. And similarly, we have the entity ID for weather, calendar, everything, but I think it should be same for all the other Home Assistant user. In case if it's different, you can just change them. Yeah, so entity ID is the most important thing to display the data of any widget you have. Other than that, the code is pretty much the same as we have discussed before, like getting the icons and displaying it with the proper, what you can say, X and Y axis and size and everything. So pretty much everything is same. I will be providing this YAML file for your reference, so it's not an issue. So I will save it, and later I'll just install it into my Home Assistant based display, which is connected at the port 0. Until the code gets uploaded, let's just try to assemble the 3D printed parts. So here is the 3D printed case for the display, and when we started assembling the hardware, we found that the belt of the screen is too short for this, and we need to get a new and longer belt to fit in this case. But as we were running out of time for publishing this video, we thought to do some jugaad for this. So we took a new XIAO board, and later we started soldering the jumper wires on all the legs, and later we did the same on the e-paper driver board as well. And after soldering, we thought to test it first to see if this works or not, as we already installed the code in it, and it kind of worked. So later we fixed the XIAO board at the proper spot with the hot glue, and did the same for the driver board as well. It was definitely not that easy, but we somehow managed to do that. Later, we inserted the belt of the screen and finally put the cover on it and added the screws from the back, and with this, our Home Assistant display is ready to be used. So as we can see, it is showing the current date and time along with the live temperature of the room and some weather parameters of my city, Ahmedabad. And it also shows the data of appliances on it, but as the display is updated after every minute, we are able to visualize the status as well after every minute. And likewise, you can add data of any widget of Home Assistant and can visualize live on the screen. A perfect desk clock for all the Home Assistant lovers. Well, do hit the like button right now if you really love this project. And as usual, I'll be leaving away the link of all the products shown in this video down in the description of this video, so that you can check it out and you can buy if you want to. And also I'll be providing the YAML file for this project in the description, so that you can take that code as a reference to build your own code on it. And that's pretty much it about today's video, and now I'm just ending this video here, and now just wait for my next video. Until then, explore, learn, share with me, techiesms.